next-gen Pokemon. Yes, I know we haven't gotten Legends ZA yet, I understand, but honestly that game's probably not going to be too different from Scarlet and Violet in terms of, like, what they can do with it, and it also isn't going to be able to do some of the things I want it to do, just by virtue of the type of game it is. So, we're going to do a different video, and it's going to be about Generation 10, and it's going to be a list video because I don't really have another way to frame this as a concept, I guess. So 5 things that I want to see in Generation 10. Yay! Pokemon Legends ZA will be out in just a few months, in October of this year, and I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. But, as much as I like the Legends, it is a different kind of game, right? Pokemon Legends Arceus is a different kind of Pokemon game, and I assume ZA is going to be similarly a different kind of Pokemon game. Based on the trailers and based on what we know, it is more of an action RPG as opposed to the turn-based RPGs we're used to, and premise-wise it's a little bit different, right? It's more about catching Pokemon, I assume, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, than it is about, like, getting badges and stuff. Although there does seem to be some implementation of that stuff in this game. It kind of seems like it's combining the two. It's not going to be the traditional Pokemon game, which is what I want to talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about now. But these are things I want to see in Generation 10. Number 1, this is probably the easiest one and I'm going to say least controversial. I want level scaling in the game. Like, just, if you're going to make a game like Scarlet and Violet where you can go anywhere and do anything, you kind of have to make the trainers compete with that, right? Like, to be fair to the Pokemon Company, I do not want nor care if the general trainers out in the world scale. I think it's perfectly fine that there is a beginning point of the game and an end point of the game, and the trainers kind of scale in between that like they do now. I think that's fine. I don't need those trainers to scale. However, if I decide to run to the last badge and get that badge first, it should be a little easier. Maybe not super easy, like it doesn't have to go all the way down to like a first badge level, but to introduce a challenge, it should be hard, but it should be a little bit easy. Like, it should be manageable, right? Like, there should be a variance to how high its levels can be and how low it can be. But the same should be true for the first badge. If I have 2 other badges, it should scale up to about a 3rd badge. I understand that means making 8 different teams for every single badge, or in the case of the current Pokemon game, making 8 teams or more, or whatever, like a bunch of teams for every I get that. But the problem is you made a game that you can go anywhere and do anything, but I can't actually, like, yeah, I can travel wherever I want, but also I'm limited because if I do that, the game just doesn't function properly. Like, if I get the last badge first, which is really not hard to overlevel your Pokemon in modern Pokemon games, you can just go spam raid dungeons until you get candies that just boost your entire team up. It's really not hard. So I can go get the last badge immediately, but then the first badge is going to be like a bunch of level 10 Pokemon, and like, that's not fun. That takes the fun out of the open world concept. Like, technically the world's open, but it's really not, because you can only do things in a certain way, or else it just kind of falls apart. Thematically, to the games, the way the trainers, the gym leaders especially, are supposed to work is they use teams based on how many badges you have. I don't think the first gym leader is best Pokemon are these level 10 and 12 Pokemon. I don't think that's how in universe, I don't think that's how that works. I think they would have other teams, and it's just, well, you're on your first badge, so here is a team appropriate for your skill level. So make the game like that. Just implement that in the game. They're the only trainers I really even want to see it with. Again, I don't care about the other trainers. I think some story beats should follow, the same thing. In Scarlet and Violet, you have the 3 main quests, the gym leaders, the people with the van, and the giant Pokemon. I think all 3 of those should scale. For every badge you get, for every time you beat a Titan Pokemon, and for every one of the bus people, I'm not going to remember their names, for every one of the bus people, everything, all the other story elements should scale up a little bit as you get them. That way they all just kind of stay as difficult as they should be. And if you enter the wrong one first, it should scale down a little bit. That way it's doable. But I don't think they should scale, I don't think they necessarily have to scale down completely. Like, if you enter the 8th gym first, it shouldn't go lower than, like, a 5th or 6th gym leveling. Like, that should just be where they're at all times, right? Like, you don't have to make you don't need to make the last gym as weak as the first gym, but the first gym should be able to be as strong as the last gym, I guess, is the best way for me, for what I want. That's all I really want to see. I want to see the badges be able to be tackled in any order, because that's how you're designing the game. That's how you design the world to the game, so I should be able to do that, and it just doesn't feel like I can. That's probably, like, the most requested thing in these games at this point, with the way that they've been going since Sword and Shield. So I would really like to see that at the very least. Number 2, I would really like to see contests brought back from Gen 3. I really liked contests, specifically how they worked in Gen 3. Like, not the other contests that were in Gen 4. I don't think they were the same. Specifically how they worked in Ruby Sapphire. Put little buildings around the region that I have to go to and I get to do contests in. I think that would be great. I really miss that. I think that was a lot of fun. Like, I don't really like a lot of the side content in Pokemon. I don't care about the Battle Frontier or the Battle Tower. A lot of stuff like that, the extra things you can do, never really worked for me. But I really liked the contest. I thought they were fun. So bring those back. I would like to see those brought back, even if it's just for, like, one region. Just for shits and giggles, bring that back. Number 3. This is probably one that most people don't like, but I would really like to see new baby Pokemon. I like baby Pokemon. I get that they don't help Pokemon be better at all. They kind of just, like, there, but they're cute. And that's really all that matters, right? Like, not every Pokemon needs to be, like, competitively viable, right? Sometimes Pokemon are just cute. Pichu is cute. Magby is cute. Electkid is cute. That's really all I need. And I don't want, like, 1,000,000 of them. I don't want, like, 30 of these Pokemon added. But, like, give me 1 or 2. Like, I just want to see some new cute baby Pokemon. I think they're fun. I like them. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I like them. So I would like to see them brought back. Especially for Pokemon that are already, like, decently good, but are single-stage evolutions or, like, only part of a 2-stage evolution. Give them a baby Pokemon, just so that they can be a 3-stage evolution, and we get, like, a cuter form. Like Scyther. Scyther evolves into Scizor or Kleavor. All 3 have the same base stats, and, just different typing and stuff. And I think that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with Scyther. It is a good Pokemon. Generally, Scizor is a good Pokemon. So, like, it doesn't need a new evolution. Like, it doesn't need a Scizor 2 or a Kleavor 2. But, like, baby Scyther would be cute as hell. Give me a baby Scyther. And it doesn't have to be Gen 1. It could be any number of Pokemon. I'm sure there are tons. But I like baby Pokemon, like, just as a concept. And I would like to see them brought back. Just a couple. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just, like, 1 or 2. And I can't remember the last time we got, like, an actual baby Pokemon. I think it was Gen 4. Bonsly. And, like, Munchlax. I think those are, like, the last set of baby Pokemon. So just bring them back. Just, like, again, just 1 or 2. Just throw a little guy in there. Just give me a little guy. That's all I want. And lastly, number 4. I want to see pseudo-legendary Pokemon be done better. I think that we have done pseudo-Pokemon correctly one time. Garchomp in Gen 4. It is relatively early available. It evolves at low enough levels that you can use it through a playthrough, and by the end of the game, you have a Garchomp to go to the Elite Four with, and it's not exactly overpowered in the Elite Four. It's good, it's usable, it's helpful, but it's not overpowered. And I think that is the perfect way to do it. The problem I have is that Dratini is basically unusable in Gen 1, Larvitar is basically unusable in Gen 2, is just entirely unusable in Gen 2, because it's not catchable until the post game. Flygon can't be caught in Gen 3 until you have like Waterfall, which is basically the end of the game. You get one Beldum, and it's by gift after you beat the Elite Four, so it's post game. Garchomp, we went over, is done correctly. Gen 5, Hydreigon evolves at like level 70 or something, like you're never using that in a playthrough. Gen 6, Goodra, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember if you can use Goodra or not. Goodra's just not a very good Pokemon. I like Goodra, it's adorable. It's just not very good. It's a defensive Pokemon, which is not fun, at least for me on playthroughs, but also I just don't think it's very good. But I also don't remember. I only played Gen 6 once. It's not my favorite. It was at a time when I wasn't into Pokemon. Anyway, I didn't really play a ton of X and Y, so like I'm not 100% sure on Goodra. Maybe you can use that in a playthrough, but I don't think you really can. Gen 7, I did use a Kamamo on my team, but you don't get it until the last trial, like right around the last trial. To be fair, you do get it at a level where it just like immediately evolves into its second stage, and it's only a few levels till its third stage, but that's not really fun. Like, you have to catch it like at the last like hour of the game, like right before you go to the Elite Four. That's kind of annoying. So I don't think that's done particularly well. Gen 8, I don't think you can get Dreepy. I don't think you can even get the Gen 8 pseudo until like until the end of the game. And then in Gen 9, I did use a Frigibax, but again, you don't catch it until very late into the game. I did manage to catch mine a little early because I just decided to run around and do whatever I felt like it, because that's how I played that game. But also, you really can't catch it until pretty late into the game, or unless you just go somewhere you're not really supposed to be. So in all of these cases, I don't think the pseudos were done very well. Like, you can't really use them in a game, and they evolve so late that by catching them that late, it's just not great. They're in a slow experience group. It's just not a good way to do it. I want to see the pseudos get just a little bit of story, make them feel like pseudo legendary Pokemon. They're incredibly powerful. They're like rumored to be incredibly powerful or something. Make it like a little mystery, like early in the game, the second town or something, the second main area, pseudo legendaries are found out there. And people are like, yeah, this is like Little Dingus. This is the little egg guy. And like little egg guy is really strong. It's rumored to be incredibly powerful when he evolves, but no one ever sees him evolve. We don't even know if he can. And like the answer is you have to get it to like level 60 to evolve. And like that's pretty late in the game, but that's like right around the time you're hitting the last gym, maybe the Elite Four. That's all. And like, do the Gibble, make it useful throughout the playthrough. The first 20 levels, it's like the weakest member of your team, and it's super slow to evolve. But then at like 25 or so, right around that fourth gym, it evolves for like the first time. And it's now usable. Like, it's a decent Pokemon. It's still a relatively weak member of your team, but like, typing wise and like the moveset, it balances itself out. It's not super strong, but it's it does something. It's useful throughout the game, and this is something you're gonna have to plan based on your gym order, based on how the game is meant to be played. Make the type combination work for it. It doesn't need to be a dragon. We've had 2 pseudo legendaries that weren't dragons. You could make another one. Make it a type combo that's just like pretty useful throughout the game, and it manages to keep up with movesets and stuff to keep it relevant, but it's never good. It's never like the best member of your team until you get to like level 60 at the end of the game, and it's like, damn, this thing is great against the Elite Four. And it's rewarding. It's fun, and it's rewarding, and you get that journey kind of like a second starter. Except it's one of the strongest Pokemon in the games, so like it feels even more fun and rewarding. Like, I think that's a lot of fun. I think but it's work. Like, you have to with the starters are just always good, right? Not only are they your first Pokemon, so they're usually quite higher level, just by virtue of how the game is played, but also they evolve in their final form pretty early in the 30s, and then, you know, it's just like it's your ace, it's your best Pokemon. It's usually your strongest, and they have decent enough stats. They're all pretty much good. This is kind of like the opposite, where it's not your best Pokemon, it's usually like your worst Pokemon or one of your worst Pokemon. But it has enough. It does enough to hold your own. If you really work hard and train it well and, you know, put in the effort, you get a Pokemon that just like steamrolls the Elite Four. I think that's a lot of fun. I think that's good. I was playing Pokemon Crystal Legacy. I did do one video, and I don't know if I'm ever going to do the rest of them. That was a lot of work. I was playing Crystal Legacy, and one of the changes that they made in the game was to add Larvitar to the early cave. So you could catch it before the first gym, and it sucked for like 80% of the game. But also, around the time I got to the Elite Four, I had a Tyranitar, and it was good, and it was good to use. And it was worth it. It was consistently a solid member of my team. It was never the best, but it was always just good enough that I never felt like it was holding me back, despite the fact that it was just a sponge for experience, which meant my whole team stayed relatively underleveled because I wasn't going to take the time to grind in this game. I didn't care, but also because it takes a ton of experience to level up every level. So it just sponged up a lot of the experience, but it made playing the game both harder, which is good. I think Pokemon games could use to be a little bit harder, and I think this is a fun way to do that. Making the game a little harder because all your experience went into this experience sponge that just never really levels up and stays pretty weak, but super rewarding because then at the end of the game, I had a Pokemon that was great and just plowed through the Kanto part of the game, and it was fun. I really enjoyed that. I would like to see Pokemon do that in their actual games. Anyway, that's the things I want to see in Generation 10 Pokemon. There's a ton more I want to see. You can leave whatever you want to see in the comments, and I'm sure I'll agree with most of it, because I just really like to see new things in Pokemon, but these are the things I would really like to see. But the pseudo thing is actually really important to me. I would really just like to see pseudos done well. I think they've been done really poorly. I think they're fan favorite Pokemon. We should be doing a little bit better with them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.